Build your brand is today. We had already in the past built your brand, but I thought it's a good reminder for people, and I bring it a little bit differently than the first time. So we have things to discuss. But the goal of today's masterclass is really like looking into the brand building aspect of personal branding, not business branding, really personal. Um, and we dive into a couple of this things. So first, I always go into the system because the system is the magic of everything. Then we look a little bit into superpowers, mission and purpose, 5 brand pillars, and then the look and feel in the end. And and we're a small group, we can have questions in between. So if there's anything, just drop something in the chat. Just put the chat on my side here as well that I see. And or just speak. That's always good as well. I mean, most of you have been here before, except Göran, so you know how that works. Christian, you can be the good bad example if needed.
Probably the
Okay,
bad one. Okay.
yeah. System. The system. This is the system that rules everything. We start with the personal brand, which is the star, which is the start of the whole system. And we will dive into that today. So I will not go further into that. It ends into the personal hub. So the personal hub is the personal website, which in my system is the hosting your personal brand. So everything that is encompassing your personal brand, everything that is content is stored in your personal hub, which then allows you to be found on the internet through large language models and of course through the normal search engines. And then we have a content system, and the content system is a specific way of how you are producing content so that it is valuable for people that want to explore you and your personal brand, but it's also helping people to understand your credibility and making you visible. And that goes then into the distribution system. So content goes into the hub and then from your hub into the distribution. And that's then all social media systems or all social media platforms that are out there, using that in a specific way that you're omnipresent everywhere every time. And we do all of that with the purpose of driving business. So strategies and tactics that generate business and leads for your business, at least the ones that are into business. And for those that are not into business, they can use it for career development. So today we go and focus on the star, which is the brand itself. Superpowers. One of the things when I talk about personal branding, when I do personal branding exercises with someone on a one-on-one level, we always start with superpowers. What are your superpowers? That are the things that you're extremely good at. And I always say that the superpowers that are the activities that don't burn calories. That's maybe an easy way to say it. And I have a simple exercise, which is also inside of the classroom, just different colors, but it's there where I always ask people, we're in today, and if you look backwards, what are different activities you have experienced over your lifetime or used that were super easy for you but hard for others? So I gave in the masterclass, I gave the example like me organizing the kids going out for football or meeting each other on a football field, playing soccer. I was always the coordinator of this. I have been coordinating things later on in businesses. So I was always the person that is kind of bringing people together and moving things along. And that's one of the key activities, what I found out for myself. And I call this connecting or connecting people, which is my superpower. And then I link this activities then back to behavior. So what did you do to connect people in my case? So when you go backwards, you just look at what are different activities that are recurring activities you have seen over your lifetime where you're extremely good at and it's supernatural to you. And for others, it's not natural. And then you look into what are the behaviors that help you to do these activities. And through that, you can then go deeper into understanding what are your superpowers. And the easiest way is always starting with yourself, like you do this on your own. And then the next level is, which I talked to Sarah today on this one, because she's just visiting her grandma. I say, talk to your grandma, talk to your parents, and ask them what a superpower would be. So if you would be a superhero, what would be your superhero costume, and what would be the things that help you to stand out? And it's so simple that I sometimes see this as a given, but when I ask people what is your superpower, a lot of people can't tell what their superpowers is. So it's a super easy exercise, and there's a long video of me explaining that. But it's just a starting point to understand when you go into personal branding. It's all about exposing the things you're extremely good at and utilizing that to brand yourself in a way that helps you to be credible and visible with what you're doing. So it's utilizing the things you're extremely good at and the behaviors that help you to get there. And then I always say at least three, like come up with three superpowers that help you to get there. For me, just to reflect on myself. The one that is strongest is the connecting thing, and that's why we're, for example, here. That's why I'm creating these communities, because I'm naturally doing this every time. Then I'm introducing people to each other, which is also part of that connections. So it's not organizing things like I'm doing with this one, it's also connecting people. And another aspect of what I'm doing, if we take my three, is education. I really love to help people and educate them in a way that they grow and utilize their superpowers going forward. So when you then know this, then you can use that to the next level, which is also another simple one. It's just doing that consciously sometimes helps you to go deeper. I use the three circles or the why, how, what circles from Simon Sinek, which I like very much. And these are just trigger questions that help you. Like, why do I get out of bed in the morning? These are questions we sometimes don't ask ourselves, or most of the time don't ask ourselves. What impact do I want to make in the world? What am I most passionate about in my life and my career? And if you go into this with the superpowers, then you can connect these things to each other. And you look at that in a more deeper way. When I did this last Monday evening with one of my clients, he came out with things that he was not thinking about it, but they're somewhere under the hood or under the surface. So it's always good to go deeper and asking yourself these questions and find more questions. Use ChatGPT if you don't have anyone around you to poke you a little bit. And then from the why we go into the how. It's like how do I live out my purpose daily? Like what are the things that I'm doing to organize myself to do these things? What are my core values that shape the way I work and live? And what strengths or skills do I consistently use to achieve my goals? And of course, that's connected again to the first exercise, which is the superpower part, because as more you can connect all of the three things, which is how, why, how, and what you do to each other, as easier it is to be very, very clear on what you're doing and why you're doing the things. And that you can then express that going forward. And it's not that you always talk about your why, how, and what. It's more about that you are aware and very, very clear of what it is. And we all understand that when we talk about the business, but we don't do this for ourselves. Like when you are working with strategies, when you work with companies, then you do these things because you know it's going to work. But for ourselves, we often don't do that. So if we go into the what do I do? What are the specifics that I'm doing? What are the tangible results that I create through my work? And what impact do I have on the people around me and or industries I work with? So it's really going deeper into specifics for yourself. And then you can use all of that to build your brand purpose and build your brand understanding for yourself so that you can then, based on this, build the next level. So for me, it's very, very simple, but I've done it thousands of times, especially with companies. But Just take the time and look for yourself into these three levels and go deeper. Any questions so far? Doesn't make sense? Okay. So next level, when you understand what your superpowers are, your why, how, and what, then I always build brand pillars. Brand pillars help you to express yourself. So starting with the foundation that are your values, like what are the values you express or what you believe in, um, your values. And from that values, you then go into 5 pillars. I use 5 pillars because we use these 5 pillars again when it comes to content creation. And you can use different pillars, but in the end, it goes back to how do you build different ways to express yourself in different contexts and in different situations with different topics so that people always get back to your brand. So the brand is literally the overarching thing of everything, but you can do specific things. So I give you my 5 pillars that I'm using lately. Now, number one is leadership. And it doesn't matter which number, but one of my pillars is leadership. I talk a lot about leadership, human-centered. Then I have a pillar that is innovation, obviously connected to my past. And that innovation is connected to strategies and tactics. So how do I do things in an innovative way? How do I do things in a way that you jump the system that you're using things in a different way? Then I have one that is mindset, that is connected to what I'm talking about. Then obviously personal branding is a strong one. I think I have already 5 4. So it's just if you're very, very clear with what that is, then you understand how you can communicate your personal topics and your personal brand throughout. So if we just take an example for me, leadership is just one pillar, and I can talk about leadership only, or I can talk about leadership in a business context. I can talk about leadership for myself. I can talk about leadership in a sports perspective. So you have a lot of flavors that you can talk about just one pillar. And even one pillar could be divided again into further pillars. So if my personal brand overarching theme would be leadership, then I could go deeper into leadership. So the 5 pillars would be leadership. But I've just found for myself that leadership is for me just one pillar and one expression I want to use in this world. And then mindset is another thing, personal branding is another thing. But in the end, it goes back to my values, who I am, who I want to be, and then what do I want to represent in this world? That's then my personal brand. And if you have looked at my website, then you see this human innovation, human connection is my key brand. And it's not that you talk about your overarching brand all the time when you are on social media, as an example. It's more about the pillars itself, so that you attract people from a different perspective into your ecosystem. And obviously, if you have a business like I have, I'm linking that as well to topics that I do from a business standpoint. So I can use that as lead generators for my business, which I guess is logic. Questions to that? No. Okay. Then the last part, which is important to understand, that's more the look and feel. So how you show up and how you want to brand yourself. And that really depends. And I just give like this example because that's the easiest way to understand. It's like formal, something in the middle, or casual. It really depends how you want to show up and whom do you want to attract. So I could sit here in a suit with a tie, and I mean, this would not be me, but at least I would attract certain people with that. I could be using casual dress and would attract certain people with that. And that is then as well mixed to how you're going to talk. So you can be looking extremely formal, but you're talking extremely casual, or you can look very, very formal, casual, and talk very, very formal. It's more finding out what is the right mix for yourself and what represents you personally the best. And then, of course, attracting the people that are connected to you. And then the last thing is that's more a color thing. That was a difficult one with me, and I know it's way too much text, but I just thought I will copy it in here. Different colors are evoking different emotions. So just being aware of that, which I was not at all, but working with designers helped me to understand that a little bit and finding out what are my colors and what does represent which color and how can I use them to do certain things. And I'm not overdoing that. It's just for me, so I've selected 5 colors that I'm reusing in a different way and just built, for example, in Canva, which is the design platform I'm using for social media pictures and so on. I just use the same colors all over again. And then I don't need to think. I just programmed it in so that I use them. And you can, of course, do that then with your dress. You can do this with everything throughout. And the most important is for me, what I have understood over the last 5 years is making their a through line, a red thread through all of that. So the things you stand for need to fit to how you dress and how you want to express yourself. And that then will help you to be authentic you, because there's nothing worse than not being authentic. And people will see that over time if you're not authentic. And that's a critical part for you, and see it more as an exploration, and don't need to be perfect from day one. It's just helpful to go into this and being very, very clear what your brand is, what are your 5 pillars, and then starting to use that to build the machinery, which is the system with it, because then you can change it over time. Like I have changed things over time as well. I've swapped out pillars because it didn't fit anymore. But in the end, my why and the things I'm doing and am expressing with my personal brand, they're still exactly the same like 5 years ago. Questions? No questions.
I would have one.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's too early because like that's the biggest issue I have. You see my name here. I'm you German as well. People already have an issue in German to pronounce the name. Internationally, that's like much harder. Even though my whole personality speaks for building a personal brand, I always stumble with that name. What would be your advice?
It's amazing to have a name that nobody can pronounce.
Yeah, because
I
people
would
like
I would use it that change it around and use it as a strength.
because everybody asks like, well, how to pronounce
Yeah,
and
that's amazing. It's a cliffhanger.
but it starts even with a domain. I mean, I even like ensured like I have this goran.de, but then people even like Germans don't believe there's umlaut domains.
Yeah, yeah, true.
So because even with the domain it starts, is it with O, is it with OE? Like I know passport controls like deliver me often a lot of pain because then you put your name with an O, but it's missing this, or then you put an extra E. Oh, wait, it's a different name than in your passport. Like it's a little bit of a challenge sometimes.
I mean, in the end, domain is the easy one. You just have both.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Because like if you just take myself, if you Google my name, you don't care about what domain it is in the end.
Yeah.
You're just interested in me as a person. And even if you write my name wrong, like a lot of Americans do as well, like they write Jens with Z in the end, as an example. I have seen everything. Um, they still end up because in the end there's only one. Even if they just use the last name, like I'm so dominant now that nobody else is shown.
Hmm. What would you say like about like a phonetic translation of that? I mean, I could use it like with like more English phonetics, like go, run, heal, share.
I mean, that's how you can explain it.
But I
It
have to
works.
have to do always.
No, yeah, I would just stick to the name like it is. Seriously, I would go with Ö.
Yeah.
If you ask me, I would just go with the like how it's written properly, because then people will get used to that.
Hmm.
If you look into there was like I've had this discussion once with like famous names. Like first, nobody knows them and nobody can pronounce them, and in the end, people get used to the names. It's
When I
just
look around here with Kolut, all right, or like Andrei, Kostin, Ionescu, like it's like also like sometimes it can be hard in life.
yeah, it is.
You
But
pronounce
people,
my name like very wrongly, you know, and I don't mind. It's fine.
That's what happened.
yeah,
So
but it's always in an international context.
yeah.
I would really go with and make even a fuss about it.
Okay.
I'm because in Sweden it's Göran with J and it's written in the same way but pronounced Jö.
Yeah, and in Germany, everybody asks me if I'm Turkish.
No, that's I would not have said that.
Yeah, but that comes with international background knowledge.
Yeah. No, I would just go with it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to like use too much time on it. It's just like was curious about your opinion.
No, it's important.
Yeah.
And
That's why we're here.
the name is a door opener. I did not put my last name there, right? Because nobody can pronounce it properly. And
Now you should put it there.
it's Wastelhuber. It's Bavarian. It's very long. It's very distinct. And everybody knows that the person with the weird last name is me. And that helps. It literally helps. No, people still can't pronounce it, but they actually know who I am and what I'm doing just because of that weird name, which is super helpful. And well, I grew up with it and I know how to spell it. And almost everybody non-Bavarian will misspell it initially. Get used to it. So yeah, it's a normal game, man.
Is your hat already branded with your name, Christian?
Yes, it is.
Good.
It is. And that's actually rebranded. I have another one.
Voila. Yes, as well.
And it's double branded. I have the company somewhere on the side. So I have the company and my name, which is
smart.
Exactly how it should be.
It's better than a business card, right? It's better than a business card. Oh, who are you wearing? Myself. I'm wearing myself.
Yes,
exactly.
And actually, the thing that the hat helped me meet a person I've never seen before at a conference. I was sitting there. We actually decided on a later time to meet, and I was kind of listening to a presentation. And she just dropped by and said, hey, you must be Christian, because I'm always wearing this cap on photos, on video calls. I was the only person in the whole area wearing a cap. So it was super easy to find me, and it's helpful. Use it. That's the only thing I can say, right? Use it and just be who you are. And I can't imagine myself without the cap, and I will wear it on Thursday for sure. Probably I will be the only one unless Jens is wearing his for the presentation. So yeah.
No, not this time. I did last time because they do so amazing photos for the keynote speakers. That's why I need to wear something else.
Okay.
If not, then they look the same.
Okay, got it.
You guys can exchange hats right before the keynote, so
exactly.
You know, like captains of football teams before the match. Yeah, have my flag. I'll have your flag. We're good.
I have at least like 5 or 6 different ones, but I mean the logo is always the same but different colors.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. I only have one.
I have a
so
question.
It's enough. Yeah.
A question, Jens. So, what if we don't get to 5 pillars? Can we stop at 1 or 2 before building the brand?
I do 5 because Monday to Friday.
Okay.
I'm just German simplicity. No,
yeah.
I have in the end I have 7, but I just use this 5 always. It's just easier.
So you don't start with the brand, the big picture. You start at the first pillar.
That's okay. You can start with the first pillar and then build on it. Like when I started, I did it. I just did what I wanted to do. So I was just having fun.
Yeah.
It's just now that, let's say, over the last 2 years, where I fine-tuned all of this to a level that I know exactly how it works and what are the things that are best converting. Because if you talk too much about exactly the same thing every day, then it's boring for people. So you need to have variety in what you're talking. And in the end, it goes back to like who you are as a person.
Fair enough. Thanks.
Yeah. And the good thing is, like, you can talk about private things, you can talk about business things, you can talk about technology in your case. And then it's more like you decide what it is. And because nobody knows what your pillars are, except you share them.
Yeah. Roger. Thanks.
Yeah, maybe just to add to that, what helped me finding those pillars is really what are my passions as well. Like, what are the things I'm reading? What are the things I'm listening to on podcasts? Because then I'm always inspired from different topics. And in the end, I bring everything back to the human, which is like my personal brand stuff, which is the human innovation thing. I don't talk too much about the brand itself or the human innovation part, but everyone gets it that is working with me that somehow there's human stuff involved. Any more questions?
I have a question, but it's not the topic today.
Doesn't matter.
So for me, the big question is, how do you transport your personal brand into your own company? Like, I'm building my
Yes.
brand right now, but I still also have a company that doesn't have my name because it's a company I'm running with a partner. And how do you manage then to make sure that at a certain point in time, potential clients also see it's the English people I have trust, and whenever I kind of work with them, I know they will do a perfect project for me. Not only me as a person, but the company as subsidiary of me or kind of substitute for me. So how do I manage that? Because I'm still struggling to kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah. So content-wise, you can mention it in between. Like I do this a little bit more because I did the soft launch of the business over the last weeks. So I pushed that a little bit more. But in the end, I always, if you remember when we talked last week about your LinkedIn profile, when you go into the links that like we did with Sarah, you can have like your business as one of the links. So that drags people, at least when we are talking about LinkedIn strategy, you can drag them in. Obviously, you can have it in your title, which helps. Then you can link your current business to your profile inside of LinkedIn so that it is visible. You can see like which logo do you want to show. Content-wise, you can just mention it in between. I slip this sometimes in like you just in your daily videos or in your, I don't even know if you daily videos, but in your videos you just slip it in. So the other day we worked with the client and this so then they understand it's not just like you're not a one person show, it's a team. Or you talk, instead of you talk you talk we in between. So people will understand that. And what I see quite a lot, because what people do is they are triggered by content that I'm creating, and then they look at my profile. And then I have no idea what they're looking at my profile, if they're on LinkedIn at least. I just see that they're looking.
Yeah.
But most probably, like, people look like, who is that? What is he doing? And if you then have your company very present there, that's often enough.
Okay. Yeah.
But key is in the end, your goal is you do your personal brand. One thing is to be seen as a thought leader in your case, and through the thought leadership, you will attract leads to your business. Because I have exactly the same.
Mhm.
Like I'm attracting people that are into leadership topics to the leadership part, which is then leadership assessments, which is my startup.
Yeah.
So I'm funneling them that way. And then if we talk about personal branding, I'm funneling people towards personal branding. And
Makes sense.
as more conscious you are doing production, so if you do your videos based on the avatar you're targeting from your business, it's even easier. So let's say you are targeting, just an example, CEOs in tech companies or CEOs from public, whatever. Then you just talk the language they are attracted to. And through that, you're automatically attracting more of them into your ecosystem and then can link them through.
Yeah. That means I have to think about what I'm saying, not just.
That helps.
Thinking is not good. Yeah, got it. Thank you, Jens.
That have you been in the video masterclass?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
No, that was last week.
Then,
Maybe watch the recording of that one, because what I do is very, very simple. So I have a brainstorming document with the 5 pillars, and I showed that on screen. And then I just use my brainstorming topic as a starting point, and then I'm scripting the video.
now I was there. I remember.
Yeah.
That's we talked about it. That's the way I do it as well. So I have some thinking involved, right? But then I still need to kind of find the connection to the Unleashed people every now and then, because I just mentioned it at the very end. Every time I do a video that is connected to the Unleashed people, if it's too personal, I actually don't do it to not kind of attract people to the company. So yeah, but probably I need to kind of let it slip in every now and then in the video itself.
Yeah, just test that. It's like, just test what works. And the interesting thing, in the end, they're attracted to you as a starting point, because people love people.
Yeah.
And through that, then they're saying, oh, what is he doing? Oh, he's even having a company that is working in this field. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Then they go to your company.
Yeah.
That's the whole strategy. And then, of course, when you have your personal website, then you build your company in there as well, so that you trigger people to your business, which is the key point. If you, as more people you have on your personal website, the hub, as more people you can funnel then actively to where you want them. Like I'm changing my homepage of my personal web page in the way that I trigger the business that I want to have people run. Like this week, for example, it is personal branding, the like executive version, the personal branding as a service. I'm just triggering people, like when they come into my personal website, that's the first thing they see after the upper part.
Okay.
Or after my story.
Yeah.
And when I want to boost the other business, then I change them. Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We have Thursday in person. We can dive into deeper topics.
Yes.
With a beer.
Years. Not sure how much I can remember the next day, but at least we can speak about it. That's good.
We need to record it. Okay. Any more questions?
Can I share an awkward situation regarding names? I was working with one of the corporates, and they usually use the first or the initial letter from the first name and the initial for the last name and the office that you are working from. So my first name is Khulud and it starts with K, and the last name is Faye, starts with F. And I was working from the Cairo office. So you can imagine I was KFC. So this is very awkward. I'm just commenting on the matter of names. So
that's
it
amazing.
was funny. It was funny,
Yeah.
seriously.
That's proper branding.
Yes. The CEO once emailed me saying, "Do you have Happy Meal in the Cairo office?" And I was like, yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Good. Any more questions? Then I even don't know what we do next week. What shall we do next week? I have a huge list now. Big list.
So we can choose something.
You can.
What's in the menu?
Yeah, I'm just checking. Hub creation breakdown, my story breakdown, professional photo shooting, DIY, video scripting, video shooting DIY, podcast setup, structuring blog pages, speaking on stage, building credibility, and omnipresence. That are like the bullet points I have in the moment. Anyone a wish?
I like omnipresence in regards of I also like want to set up a professional blog and write more and speak also more, and then I just want to push one button and then appear everywhere.
That's how we do it. That's the magic. Now, okay, so we do omnipresence next Monday.
If the others agree.
Yep.
All good.
It's chosen.
No, I just heard from other like storytelling experts, like the German
Sounds good.
like feel like
It does.
much helps much. So like in this regards, I trust it, and I see it as well. Like people with a lot of volume online have a lot of volume online, right?
That's how it is.
Yeah.
And it's just doing that in the most efficient way. That's what a lot of people don't know how to. Like you can spend 20 hours per week doing it, or you can spend 2 hours or less.
Let's make the 2 hours with the 20-fold output.
Exactly. That's what we're doing. And then you have amazing team members that can take care of other things.
Yeah, sounds great.
That's the best of it. But that's next level. Still, like that's what this whole system is about. But okay, next week omnipresence. That's going to be fun.
I like it. I mean, it's the first time here, so thank you also for giving like some attention and focus. Meanwhile, I'm preparing dinner.
Hey, that's fine.
There
No,
you go.
in the end, this whole community is community based. So I'm doing the topics that are most interesting for you, and that help you to succeed with what you do.
I would love to share some of my salad now, if it would be possible. Like, give it through.
You can come over.
Where are you right now?
I'm in the Netherlands, The Hague.
Ah, The Hague. All right. And the
Yeah.
other people around?
You mean here on the call or what?
Yeah.
Oh, look, where are you?
Straight through the screen, you know?
Hello from the other side. I'm located in Cairo, Egypt. So
Out of Egypt.
yeah.
And Christian, you?
Munich.
Munich. Yeah, I just have been last week.
Nice.
Yeah, and Andre is in I think Bucharest or close to it.
Oh, I've been in May
Where are you now?
in Berlin.
Berlin.
Oh.
Mm.
Yeah, nothing special about it anymore.
But Frank, who is normally in this calls, he's also in Berlin.
Franca.
Yeah. He's normally in every call, but he is somewhere in a meeting this week. That's why he's not. He texted me even. Yes, I can't join this time.
Fantastic.
Yes, he's the one that like he's the leaderboard leader everywhere right now.
Mhm.
The most active member.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Good. Super.
Let's take the
Recording.
screenshot for Frank.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
He's gonna kill us if we don't have a screenshot. You have no idea. Where's the screenshot?
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. I'll
Thank you.
post it later. Good. Thank you very much. See you next week or in between.
See
Yeah,
you.
and I was also
Have a good
again,
one.
one question.
Sorry?
Because you just agreed to my like Fathom note taker, I would provide that to the group as you agreed. It makes fantastic sum ups and protocols of each meeting.
Yeah. Feel free.
Just have it since yesterday, but it works like amazing.
Yeah, I've heard it or I've seen it already a couple of times. It's quite good.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
All
Cool.
right.
Thank you so
See
much.
ya.
huh?
See you.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.